Hey, what's up, everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so it's rainy, man. We're back to rainy weather. I prefer this over the heat any day, to be honest with you. Now that I just went through a nice hot summer, it's the first rain we've seen maybe all year. I mean, I think it's rained maybe once or twice this year, to be honest with you. But like, we didn't hardly get any rain this year, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some rain coming down a lot over the next several months. So yeah, after a year where it rained hard when it rained, for us to have a year that's been as dry as this one has, it's been kind of strange. No real consistency from year to year, but it's raining again. It's raining again, but right now it's actually not. It's stopped for a while. I hope it stops for as long as it takes for me to get over to this Target, grab a few things, and come back. That's what I'm hoping for. I would have stayed in, but it turns out I was going to not have enough oatmeal for the meal in the morning. And it was one of those situations where even if I didn't go today, it's expected to rain even harder tomorrow. So, you know, either you're gonna get out there today or you're gonna get out there tomorrow, but either way, you was not to get out there. And so, plus tomorrow's I gotta pay the people day, so I'm probably stay local one way or another tomorrow and make sure that gets done. Hopefully everything goes smoothly with the transaction from my uncle, and we can get them their money on time tomorrow, because last week we had that little issue with old dude. He was not pleased with me because I told him I was going to get him the money before the end of the shift, like around 4, and they want us to have that money in by 12, which is a little bit of a stretch, but you know, if we're prepared for it, it shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, man, I am prepared this time. Been stressing a little bit too, because it's like, man, I usually make my Laker videos. If the Lakers are playing, I ain't gonna usually get out the house till 1. So it's like, I don't want them calling me or knocking on my door while I'm making the video tomorrow. That's what I do not want that problem. And there's no way to really avoid it. So it's just, I've been stressing that a little more than I need to be honest with you, but that's just how this goes. But whatever the case may be, they'll get paid. One way or another, they're gonna get their money. So yeah, that's what's going on, man. Just enjoying my day. Feel pretty good. Last night yesterday I went out and went to Hollywood after my therapy session with Lydia, which went really well. It was one of the better sessions we've had in months, so that was really cool. And then I went to Hollywood after it got dark. I still climbed the hills and I did my thing in the dark for the first time, so that was a difference in my way of doing things. Because normally if it's dark, I'm just coming back home, but I was determined to keep that practice up regardless of what was going on, and I didn't know when I'd be getting back over there because of what it is I got planned today and tomorrow, and Sunday for that matter. So it was like, man, if I'm not gonna climb the hill today, I ain't gonna probably do it until sometime next week. And I've only done it once in the last week and a half, so that was like, nah, this was my great opportunity, since I had to stop at Trader Joe's for some things yesterday after the therapy session. Gave me an opportunity to get that done. So felt very good. My body really reacted well to that. And it's funny because yesterday I woke up and felt like I had no energy, no physical energy, but by the time I did my walk and did everything I had to do, when it was time to hit that hill, my body reacted very well to it. So I don't know, that's how it is at this age. You feel like you don't have energy until you do something active, and after you get that started, you find that you have more energy than you feel like you have. So it's the get up and go that I think is a struggle at 41. But once I'm good, once I'm going, I'm gone. So yeah, man, that's pretty much what's up, man. That's what's on my mind. Looking forward to the Laker game tonight, and of course we got to play again tomorrow. So we got all this stuff going on, but at the end of the day, I'm having a great time to start the season. I feel much better about it than I did last year. So, you know, it's one of those situations where, you know, for if anything, I've just been very thankful that the stresses of last week are not in my life right now. I thought some of that stuff was going to linger. There was a lot of different things I was concerned with, but ain't none of them going on right now. I'm very thankful for that. So, you know, just continue to move forward and ask for continued favor from the Most High, and you know, continue to keep my effort where it needs to be. That's really what it's about. It's putting forth that effort that I want to see within myself as I go forward, you know. And so yeah, man, I looking forward to sorting through some music that came out last night. A few of my favorite artists dropped the project last night, so I'm very much looking forward to checking stuff out. I haven't as much as pressed play on any single song yet, but I did load up everything on a big playlist. So I think when I get home, that might be my project before the game starts, to sort through music and see if there's anything I really like on there and get it sorted out for a playlist. So yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to do when I get back here. But yeah, man, this is a regular day. As I said, I just feel like myself, I've been a little stressed lately. Little stresses, big stresses, they're all in place right now. It's just, you know, I'm just don't like change as it pertains to how I have to do things with this living situation. Them threatening to lock me out if I don't pay them by a certain hour, it's hanging over my head in a way that it never had to before with the old management. It just wasn't something we had to stress over. They didn't give us that type of ultimatum, and they never had any problems with anybody either. So that this new regime is doing this I think is stressful to deal with, and it's frustrating. So that's exactly what I feel on my head, and I don't like it. I resent it a lot, especially since I haven't been delinquent at all with this new management or with the old management. So just trying to manage my own head as it pertains to things like that, man, because little stuff like that tends to weigh down on me in ways that maybe wouldn't be normal for most people. Just frustrating. It eats away at my happiness throughout the course of leading up to whatever that moment is. And so I don't know, I don't like being forced to change that in that way. You know what I mean? I don't like that. Pay us by 12. No. I'll pay you by 3. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my attitude, but unfortunately I don't make the rules, nor do I own the property, so it's their rules. And if they want to lock people out for not paying them by a certain hour, and see how that works out for them. That's pretty much how that goes. They're gonna have a lot of problems with a lot of people, unnecessary headaches. So that's what I see for them if they decide to go forward with that. So yeah, man. What else? Ain't much going on, man. I pay attention to everything. Of course, the Epstein files were allegedly to have been released. I heard some of the stuff that's on there, or read a little bit of it, not much, but it's a bunch of emails. I'm sure there are more files. There are more. I don't know who released these files or why. Although I'm very pleased that some files are being released, I'm skeptical about where they're coming from in a way. And he made it very clear that Epstein, in one of his emails, said that Bill Clinton had never been to his island. I'm skeptical of that, to be honest with you. I had understood, from what I understood, they already said that he was on the manifest, so maybe that email was sent before he visited, or maybe he got that information wrong. But when I hear Donald Trump say that this is a ploy from the Democrats, or a hoax from the Democrats, far be it for me to trust anything that comes out of Donald's mouth. But when I see one of the first things that they release in regards to the Epstein files is that somebody we've been understanding who we thought was on the files just happens to be exonerated before anything else, that's like the loudest thing we see. That lends itself to his conspiracy. And given I trust both parties so very little at this point, I'm not ruling out anything, including that maybe the Democrats got a hold of the files, added or maybe subtracted a few things. Put it like that. Especially since the files have been through so many different hands since we first heard about them. Then we heard there were no files. Now all of a sudden they're being released. I don't trust this. I don't trust this. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't trust it. It's not that I don't think a crime was committed, or I think that there's no files or nothing like that. When it takes this long for some files to be released, I question who got them and what could have been done with those files what could have been removed and added to these files. And that's really where I'm at with that. I don't trust these files. Not these. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. But there is some damning stuff on there for Donald. Not too much damning stuff for the Democrats. I don't trust it. So that's really my point of view, man. But the truth will come to light one way or another. So we move forward. But if anything, I just kind of been not really focusing in too much on social stuff or things that I normally focus in on. I just kind of been working on enjoying different things that I've been paying attention to, my own little interests. Ain't been going on Instagram too much. Not as much as I normally do. But as I tell you guys, I watch Candace Owens all the time. I don't miss an episode, so she kind of gives me a lot of my dose of that stuff. She's giving me my daily dose of that stuff. Basically, she's pointing out a lot of stuff for us on her YouTube podcast. So, that kind of keeps me informed right now. But, if anything, man, I just wonder what's next as it pertains to, this is what I've really been thinking about. I'm going to be honest with you. And it's been a thought in the back of my head, but it's not as profound of a thought as it was yesterday when I was leaving my therapy session with Lydia. Randomly. When you start finding out Israel owns so much, particularly restaurants that you frequent, food places that you eat, and you start finding out how they operate, what their ideologies are, what they think of the people that aren't Jews, you just find out how they operate, and you truly start to learn about these people like we've been doing for the last 2 years. You start getting these morbid ideas about what they could be potentially doing to your food. And we know there's a lot of chemicals in American food, specifically chemicals that I don't have any answer for why those chemicals are in our foods. But it's not even the chemicals that make me wonder. It's like, when you see how these folks operate, it's like, are we sure they're not putting other things in our food? Like, that's exactly what's been coming to mind for me as late. Like, without letting my creativity paint a picture for you, when you realize how they are, you start to wonder, are they just for the sake of their own happiness? Is it not strange to consider that they may be doing bad things with our food? When you go to your favorite restaurant, or you go to, and these Zios own it, do you not wonder at this point if there's not something really devious taking place in regards to what you're digesting? Because the more I learn about these folks, the more I understand how evil, literally evil, they are. Like, just pure and utter evil. It's not deeper than that at all. They're just wicked individuals, awful individuals, do terrible things to innocent people for their own reasons, who lie to all of everyone who will listen, including to one another, for just the sake of existing. Like, when you understand how evil these people actually are, and you start considering the fact that they own a bunch of restaurants and a bunch of things that you get your food from, you're going to let your mind wander to understand that you really are in trouble as it pertains to everything that you eat. Everything that they own that you eat could potentially have some terrible stuff in it. They could be doing terrible things to it. They could be feeding you nonsense just off the strength of the evil in their hearts. That is what I've been thinking about lately. Because you look at how they treat their enemies, you look how they treat their friends, look how they treat one another, you look at it's like they just do awful stuff for seemingly no reason. If I'm being frank with you guys, they don't really need a whole lot of motivation to do awful stuff. They're awful people. That's what they've proven. And so at this point, it's like, man, when I go to this restaurant or that restaurant, today, if I'm to go to any of these restaurants, I'm thinking the worst. And it just makes you not, and even if it's not a restaurant, let's say I'm going to Target right now. Some of the products I purchase, you get them from these aisles. They own a lot of these different little companies, big companies. They own them. And you think about just some of the issues we're having, some of the cancer people are coming up with, and coming down with, rather just stuff that's happening medically that we don't have any answer for. And then you look at the behavior that they engage in so many different areas of life, and you continue to see more and more people awaken to the understanding that you are, or what you're dealing with in regards to them. It's like, and then you double back to what it is you understand, that they control a lot of what you put in your body. Your medication, some of your medication, some of your food, your beverages. They own a lot, and they have say-so over a lot. And you see how they get away with certain things. I was looking at some stuff online in regards to them talking about how they control devices and have put surveillance in devices. By the way, that Pelletier dude, Peter Thiel, he's all in the, I've seen files that have been released recently. He's released, he's in that heavy. His name all through that. Not surprising. My sister's been talking a lot about him. She's very worried about what he's put in place for our country. I gotta get my, it's starting to come down, man. I gotta get my umbrella out. But she's really worried about him, so she's been putting me up to what he's been about, and his name all through the Epstein files. He all in that. But like, just in general, they're going around essentially telling everybody, yo, man, we tracking your devices. We may have put explosives in your devices like they did to their enemies last year. Y'all saw how they did that country. Put all types of explosive devices in their phones and stuff like that. And they're essentially going around telling people, hey man, it was the one guy on this on some podcast. He was essentially telling people, hey man, I came up with the idea to do this, and I have this in any country you can think of. I got devices that have not only surveillance but also different types of capabilities, such as what it is you saw in that situation. Like, they're going around telling people this as if it's not a illegal thing. They're breaking international law in multiple areas, pushing in on their neighbors, trying to provoke people to fight. They're just doing a bunch of awful stuff right now while everybody's watching unapologetically. And then we look over and see that they own our food. And it's like, what's keeping them from putting so-and-so in your food? What's keeping them from doing evil stuff that you don't know just for their own laughs? Nothing. They sick like that. They would do something like that. They absolutely would do something like that. And that's exactly what's been coming to mind for me. So, I don't know, man. I think Americans, people in the Western world, we need to become farmers, our own farmers, where we know where the food that we put in our body is coming from. And we raise it ourselves, we grow it ourselves. That might be the only way to protect yourself from whatever the hell they're trying to do to people. Whatever their intentions are. Sick, weirdo intentions, man. It's awful, man. Just the stuff that we're paying attention to is one of the reasons why I ain't been paying as much attention to it. Because the more we learn, the more paranoid you have every right to feel, man. They awful, man. Like, you know there are evil people in this world, but when you start to realize that the ruling society just happens to be a sick society, the ruling class just happens to be made up of sick, twisted, perverted, demonic type energy, you really understand just how much danger you may be in at any given moment. And I'm a believer in God, so I don't really worry too much about specific danger, but as it pertains to the deviousness and the disgusting potential of what these people actually could be doing based on the evidence of what it is that we've been seeing they've been about, it becomes really, really disturbing. If you allow your mind to go into those directions, it can get really disturbing. The world is in a lot of trouble because of the Zionists. It is what it is, man. And without the context and the information and the understanding, what I just said sounds weird, or sounds strange, or sounds like I'm talking crazy. But the reality is, you do your homework there, that's exactly what you're going to find. The world is in a lot of trouble because of those people. If they're not in power, or if they're not in the position they're in, I think the world is probably 70% safer than it is. 70%. I'm just being honest. I'm not saying they're the root of all problems, but they're the root of most of them. That's just most of them. You're gonna find their hand in a lot of stuff. You're gonna find their provocation in most wars. Most. You're gonna find their investment dollars in a lot of the black market. You're gonna find their investment dollars in a lot of the things that are rigged in this world, like the stock market and the gambling market and things of that nature. You're gonna find them making money off of all the evil things in the world, man. And poking at some of the sicker people in this world, making them worse. Poking at some of the more wild factions in this world that look to be violent, and providing them weapons. Like, this is what they do. And people are so compromised in general that they've allowed these people to have the leverage over them that we all are faced with, and our kids are going to have it worse if we don't find a way within our lifetime to remedy this problem, man. It's a lot deeper than what it is we're paying attention to. It's not just the situation in Gaza. It's a lot of other stuff that they're doing. And so it's not just them taking over our government. They're taking over a lot of people's governments. And it's a bunch of cowards and compromised individuals in place that have allowed for them to infest so much of civilized society in this world, man. They have their tentacles in a lot. And we've been talking about this. Is not a new conversation, but when you start putting it all together and you start seeing what all they had their hands in, and you look back in history and start seeing their imprint on everything, you start to really understand that there's no one coming to stop them. No one is coming to stop them. They control a lot of the armies and the navies and this and that. They control a lot of the media, the narratives, control a lot. The only people that are really going to hold them accountable is common man, who has a lot to lose, who doesn't want to lose his life trying to purge these assholes out of his circumstance. People got families. People have but so much money. People have but so much energy. People got other things. They don't want to waste their lives, their entire lives, trying to dedicate themselves to get rid of this cancer that's in our society. But if we don't, they're going to continue to get stronger and stronger, and eventually their ill ways are going to destroy our earth. Some generation, if not our own, is going to have to dedicate itself to get these people up out of there. Break every law that they set in place to protect themselves and keep them in place, and move ourselves in whatever direction necessary to purge them out of our situation. Otherwise, they're going to continue on the path they're on, and it's going to be to our own detriment. Not just America, the entire world, all countries. And if you're waiting for your government, or you're waiting for your lawyers, or you're waiting for, people that you suspect are going to be able to stop them, they're likely to compromise to do so. They're likely to compromise, too chicken, or too interested in their own interests to actually stop them. And as you continue to allow an entity like this to continue to get stronger and stronger, they're going to become more and more bold, and more wicked, and more devious, and more hungry to do whatever they choose, which is likely nothing good. Our forefathers failed us by allowing them to move as if they were better than all of us. And as a result, they have everything they need to continue to push forward whatever their agenda is. And it is a cancer on our planet that, as of right now, still a majority of the planet doesn't even know is there. It's God's honest truth. And a lot of our seeds, our kids, are going to go fight in their wars. They're going to believe their propaganda if we don't do enough to assure that it doesn't happen. We keep sending our kids to go fight in these armies, and these armies are intentionally fighting for these people. And these people are intentionally doing evil stuff because they have our armies behind them, because they have our dollars behind them, because they have our interests wrapped up in them staying in power. We have got to change the culture of our minds to deflect against that for which compromises us underneath their tyranny. This is what I know. And if we don't figure it out, like I said, this is going to get stronger and stronger, more devious and devious, and more demanding of us doing things for them that likely are going to be horrible for us. This is what they've already proven. Today, it's apologies. Please say sorry to us. We are the victims. Tomorrow, who knows what it's going to be. But if you let an entity like this continue to gain power, believe me, they're going to continue to get more and more demanding of you. Luckily enough, this word is being spread amongst us at this point to at least awaken more people than ever before. What we do with that wokeness, so to speak, is going to determine how much suffering the next generations are going to go through at their hands. How effective we are in spreading this word right now will determine how much of a fighting chance we give ourselves. I'm sorry that I had to be the bearer of this news, but this, not only this country is infected by Zionist Jews, but the entire world is. Bdf 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.